All right. Guess who was the best player on the field in Philadelphia for the NFC Championship game between the 49ers and the Eagles? Both teams, best player. It was unquestionably this guy right here. Christian McCaffrey is unbelievable. And Christian McCaffrey is who we need to talk about entering this 49ers offseason because so much has evolved over the course of this season. It started with McCaffrey not even on the team, and suddenly he is one of the 49ers' long-term foundational pillars. But I wrote this article yesterday on The Athletic, flying home from Philadelphia, to talk about the remarkable development that we've seen surrounding the 49ers and Christian McCaffrey. So be sure to check it out. It is in the description. I'll put it in the chat section in just a little bit. But when we talk about best players on the field in Philadelphia, I don't think there was a close second. I think Christian McCaffrey stood out amongst everybody else. And as a 49ers, anybody who's watching the 49ers over the course of the season knows how big of an impact the before and after with Christian McCaffrey was, right? On the field on Sunday, there's a lot of regret from those within the 49ers building that they didn't have a fair chance to show what their talent could truly do against Philadelphia due to the quarterback injury catastrophe. But we still got a glimpse of what might have been possible when Christian McCaffrey busted through for that 23-yard touchdown run. He was running like a man possessed on that run. He broke 4 tackles. He broke the tackle of a defensive back. He broke the tackle of a linebacker, even broke the tackle of a defensive lineman a little bit further upfield. It was madness. And he just bounced off of everybody. I mean, the way that I described the run is right here in the article. First line, I think, is worth a little bit of a look and a read through. The run, 23 yards of burst, cuts, bounces, and balance that seemed to defy gravity, was sensational. Christian McCaffrey's explosion into the end zone tied the NFC Championship game and gave the 49ers, already down starting quarterback Brock Purdy, who tore his UCL and will be out for at least 6 months, hope that they might be able to hang with the Eagles in a bar fight style game. One run from one player balanced out a mismatch for nearly a whole half, because that's what Christian McCaffrey can do, and that's the mentality that he brings. And if you read the article, if you check it out, I talk so much about the belief that Christian McCaffrey bought the sideline. He said, you know what? Pick sixes can happen. Special teams touchdowns can happen. We thought throughout the whole thing, up until obviously the fourth quarter when things got out of hand, that we could stay in this game despite being at a tremendous injury disadvantage of the quarterback position. And the result of this game is not what matters for the offseason planning moving forward. It's the mentality that Christian McCaffrey not only brought to the 49ers, but also fit in with, because the locker room already really jived with that kind of steely resolve, that fight that Christian McCaffrey had. And it was all on display in this game on Sunday. So when we talk about Christian McCaffrey transitioning to becoming a long-term fixture with the 49ers, let's see exactly what that looks like from a financial perspective. I have the cap situation here from the contract that Christian McCaffrey brought to the 49ers. They inherited it with the trade. Could pop it open on the screen and take a quick look. Here we go. Christian McCaffrey's contract. He's 26 years old right now, and he's still under contract for 3 more seasons. In 2022, he was cheap. $1.035 million base salary. 49ers were responsible for only $690,000 of that because they picked him up midstream. But the Carolina Panthers had restructured McCaffrey's contract a few months before trading him, which allowed the 49ers to fit McCaffrey into their 2022 crowded salary cap structure. What wasn't really discussed at the time of the trade, and what the 49ers didn't have time to discuss, was the fact that Christian McCaffrey is still under contract for 3 more years. They said, okay, great. When they traded for him, that's awesome. We have team control over a really good player for 3 more years. But the focus right after the trade was on the short term, Remember how quickly the 49ers got Christian McCaffrey ready? I mean, they traded for this guy on a Thursday night, late on the Thursday night. They had him on a private jet by Friday morning, and he was at practice by Friday afternoon. He was in the lineup against the Chiefs by Sunday. And then within a week after that, he was scoring touchdowns in 3 different ways against the Rams to make franchise history. A throwing touchdown to Brandon Ayuk, a receiving touchdown from Jimmy Garoppolo, and a rushing touchdown from Christian McCaffrey. So everything was short term with McCaffrey this season. They had to get that spark plug. And boy, did the 49ers ever get that spark plug from him. The offense completely transformed with this guy in the lineup. The splits were absurd. They went from a middle of the pack offense to the number 1 offense in football due to the spacing that Christian McCaffrey brought, right? I mean, we talked about the spacing, the way that he felt the quarterback position. So he was always in that perfect outlet spot, lowered the turnover rate for the 49ers, did all that good stuff. And he also supercharged the running game. They're number 26 rushing DVOA pre-McCaffrey, number 3 rushing DVOA post the McCaffrey acquisition. So in the short term, he provided the surge that the 49ers needed. But it's the long term now that matters because we're moving into the offseason. And this contractual situation is really, really rosy for the 49ers because Carolina already paid all of Christian McCaffrey's signing bonus. So all that McCaffrey is going to cost the 49ers is a base salary of about $12 million per year for 2023, 2024, and 2025, which means a cap hit of just about $12 million per year for 23, 24, and 25. That number per year makes Christian McCaffrey the 7th highest paid running back in the league. And I can guarantee you that Christian McCaffrey is better than the 7th best running back in the league. So the 49ers are essentially getting Christian McCaffrey at a bargain over the course of the next 3 years. But, this is more than that. This is not just the talent of Christian McCaffrey, the adaptability, the ability to be an excellent running back and also an excellent receiver and turbocharge an offense. When you're talking about somebody being a long-term foundational pillar, you also need him to fit in the locker room. And for that, well, we have Exhibit A of Christian McCaffrey fitting into the locker room. This is why you should follow me on Twitter because it's already been posted there. But this is an excerpt from the piece that is linked in the description. And to me, this is something that sold the 49ers very, very quickly on both McCaffrey and Brock Purdy. And I think that it's absolutely relevant to look at anecdotes like this. When McCaffrey first showed up with the 49ers, this was back in October, late October, Brock Purdy was still a relatively anonymous backup to Jimmy Garoppolo, still Mr. Irrelevant at the time, not Mr. Relevant. He, though, went out of his way to help Christian McCaffrey learn the playbook. By out of his way, I mean outside of work hours. Saturday nights when everybody's chilling before the game, McCaffrey and Purdy would meet up. And Christian McCaffrey said, I would get with Brock and we'd go through the whole play sheet. He would recite the plays to me. I was doing it for me, but I think it helped him just being able to verbalize it out loud. I think that's a big thing. And he jumped right to it anytime I needed him. We were out on the field one off day, and he just walked through the playbook with me on the field, which is obviously a testament to who he is and obviously extremely helpful to me. He has the attitude of getting better. I didn't know a lot about him coming here, but the first couple days, I found out a lot about him and his attitude and his mentality, his work ethic, wanting to be great, wanting to help out. Not a lot of people would do that, and he did it. He jumped at the opportunity. So just consider this. You have Brock Purdy and you have Christian McCaffrey. This is before Purdy blows up, right? Before about a month before he takes over the starting job after the Jimmy Garoppolo injury. And McCaffrey, who's new to the locker room, and you have these two guys on their off time meeting and discussing the 49ers playbook. If that doesn't point to a healthy locker room culture, I don't know what does. And then I also wrote the big feature on the meetings at Trent Williams' locker between Big Trent, number 71, and Nick Bosa. Christian McCaffrey would drop in on those meetings too. And McCaffrey, really entered the fold of this locker room full of stars. He told me that it was like he was walking around the Pro Bowl every day. It was just so many stars, so much knowledge to be able to absorb. Christian McCaffrey fit right in. But he's not only absorbing knowledge from the star players like Trent Williams, he's also absorbing knowledge from guys who nobody knew, Mr. Irrelevant himself, Brock Purdy, because at the time, Purdy wasn't yet the starter. And when you have that kind of symbiosis within the locker room, that's when good things can happen. When you have that type of symbiosis within the locker room, that's when the superstars get along with the guys who aren't as known yet, and when teams can play really good football. And the 49ers went on one of the most efficient stretches in their team history with Christian McCaffrey in the fold. Number one offense, number one defense. I said number 5 special teams too, over the 12-week win streak, the 12-game win streak with Christian McCaffrey on board. Obviously, it all went up in flames in Philadelphia, but I don't think that a lack of talent or a lack of team quality was the issue. Obviously, the 49ers ran into some of the worst possible luck you could have ever imagined, losing both of their quarterbacks in this game. But it didn't stop Christian McCaffrey from continuing to fight. He fought his way into the end zone on this 23-yard touchdown, which is pictured on the screen, and it was awesome. So Christian McCaffrey, now long-term 49ers fixture. Check out the article. We'll talk to you all soon.